Hello, everybody, welcome. Rosa's like, let's get a hell, huh. Everybody, welcome. Rosa's like, investigator. I got a couple of pyramids in my hands here. So this is the protection. I'd like to ask for protection, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that I create the good and only good, and so it is. Okay, so guys, I didn't do a video yesterday. Of course, you saw, or maybe you didn't, but um, it was not, of course, but it was. I don't know. It's funny. I'm trying to remember why I didn't do a video yesterday. I think I was. It's honestly, as you know, the energy is really quite intense. And then when we saw the issue of uh of what's going on, it's really the thing with the comedian that Trump wanted to get rid of, right? And he got him fired. Is it Jimmy? I forgot. I'm gonna look it up. Just 1 second. That's funny. I see his face. And this isn't he the one whose child was sick for a while? Remember, he's a good man. So not that even if he wasn't a good man, it's not okay what he did, what the administration did. And but it's interesting, guys. That the challenge now is dealing with this intense energy and the entirely contaminated news space. And today I went for, it was beautiful. It still is a beautiful day, but it was sunnier earlier because it's almost 6. And I went for a walk. And it's just so wonderful to go out and see nature. Even I went to this little garden, walking around, just had like an hour long walk. It's of course for exercise, but also good. It clears the head and it reminds you of what really matters, right? And it was so great. And then you come home and then you look at the news, right? Checking, and then you see all that stuff that's happening. And I wouldn't call it a battle, right? But it's important to really step out when you can, because they have controlled the information environment to such a degree that that you can't rely on it, and there's so much division and the bots and all that. So maybe I could start. Let me actually open the text thingy. So like I said, how to deal with the information environment in light of everything that is happening. So as I said, and I don't think it's a shocker, it's obvious to everybody that this social media is heavily manipulated, and a lot of accounts, some of platforms are like 60 or 70% fake, like X, the one I actually rely on for some of the news. But it's interesting because it feels in a way like, guys, I actually, when I had a conversation with somebody today, it was really interesting because I asked about is it, am I being Pollyanna, and where are the chances that the world could really be uh like entering a dark phase? And it's interesting because I saw, like, on X, of course, right, some account that didn't ring true to me, and she was like, "Oh, my astrologer, I see that there's a strong likelihood that the world's going to go into some sort of dictatorship in the next 3 years." And I just, it kind of hurts when you read something like that, and it's like, and then I always ask myself, right? And it just doesn't. I think there's a lot of disinformation. There's a lot of people pushing this, and there's a lot of fake accounts pushing, so-called psychics or whatever, right? But you know what I'm talking about, right? You could say that there's some people that are, let's say, some of them are not great, but some of them are just complete frauds pushing certain talking points. And it was just, I never heard of this. It's like on X. So you could tell right away when they don't have a lot of engagement. But it's crazy, guys. It's like the push to have us give up and accept something that is not acceptable is crazy. So anyway, so this person and I, when I talked to somebody earlier today, I asked about this. I said, should we just accept that there's going to be some kind of really dictatorship? Just kind of devil's advocate questions. Is there a chance that I'm wrong and many other people are wrong? And it's the comparison I got was interesting. I saw it compared to, it showed me the Stalin era and this era, and it said that sometimes in historic periods there has been the need in some ways for some sort of dictator because there was so much chaos. What is happening now is different. It's like there was a relative order and they want to create chaos out of the order. Maybe in order for somebody like Trump to come in, but I feel like ultimately it's saying the population doesn't want it. He's not popular. He did not technically win the election, as we know. So it is not correct. And it's saying that if you think about the aftermath of the Russian Revolution, right? They created, it's like a giant country. They had to kind of unite into the separate parts. And so the rise of somebody like Stalin made some sense, even though he killed millions of people, right? So does it make sense what I'm saying? It's not the same. I feel like they have consolidated the media power for now. And the social media is also completely contaminated. And this is something that Peter Thiel, for example, what always talked about because he was very pro Hungary. Hungary is a place where the media is completely controlled, right? There's no critical thinking. So 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 that's that. Okay, that was just his response from Spirit. And then I also asked what is going on about next week. And I saw this image of us, the population, kind of like on Earth, like in this country particularly, right? Because that's what I was asking about. On top of us, there's like Trump and his reality that he and his people are trying to push onto us, and they're pushing it. I got told that they're using so much power to try to push it, that the power itself will envelop them and kind of like, it doesn't make sense. It's like they're going to use so much force that they're just going to fall through by their own sword. And on top of it, I saw that there was like three layers, right? Us, the humans, and then there are people in power like Trump's people, and then on top the spirit world. And it said that the spirit world nothing changes, like in the sense that the spirit world has control, like it's still in charge, and that it's saying the apex of humanity trying to do everything they can, and it always ends in trash, right? Like people wanting to grab power for the wrong reasons. And it's saying to try to ignore the layer where the politicians are and focus on the divine for now, because that is like the more you're exposed to this, uh the more depressing it gets. Of course, and I was talking to the person, she's like, well, but you have to make videos, so you have to be exposed to it. I said, yes, but at the same time, right, we can't take breaks, and we cannot be just speaking their latest talking points. Doesn't make sense, because I think sometimes, I think happened yesterday, maybe the other day too, where it's the fire hose. Like I think Bannon has a name for it. It's a fire hose of information. I forgot the name, but it's like so much that we can barely process what's going on. And then if you start repeating whatever it is they're saying, then you fall into the game. And I think the vibrations are so intense that we're being kind of like pushed out of it. Doesn't make sense. I know when things get crazy, I lose. Oh my God, look at the mess I've done since I need some self-soothing, so I go with the makeup. But it's like, um, yeah, it's just very, it's very, right, it's very toxic. Okay. So, so having said that, we want to get into this whole, sorry, I'm like, what am I, oh, you know what it is, guys, it's flipped. So me unflip it. And then I want to ask, so, as I talk to you, it's helpful that we could talk, because then I could see, I could talk about what's going on, and then things kind of like start making more sense to me even as I speak. Because one of the things that we're seeing, and what's happening, for example, with what happened with ABC Jimmy Kimmel. I forgot his last name. Now it's come back. Um, so Jimmy Kimmel works for ABC, and ABC is owned by Disney. And Trump, I guess, threatens them with like taking them off the air. The FTC guy who also helped write Project 2025. Okay, he was involved in kicking out. Wait, that's so weird. Look at the thing is the thing is flipped. Weird. Okay. Oh, I see. You know what? Okay, just 1 second. Let me unmirror the brand. Okay, so yeah, it's guys. As soon as I put this, the letter thing, it flips the video, so I have to like unflip it. I don't know if it shows up in the final video. Okay, but just so you know. All right, so here we are. Now going back here to the conversation. So we have the consolidation of the media, and somebody like Larry Ellison, the owner of Oracle, his son is going to be the owner of all these media companies, the Hollywood companies, and that's what they want. They want total like control by the state. Okay, and so that's the story. Now, I think we can ask. Let me just pause here. I'm going to formulate the question about the media. Okay, so ABC Network decision about Jimmy Kimmel shows the power of right-wing billionaires and how they are deferring to Trump. What happens next, right? Because as as I was just saying, like as we see, it's like it's a chain of events. So they're pushing it, and Trump hates the comedians because they make fun of him. And guys, that's another thing. No authoritarian likes comedians, right? It's just a thing. They don't have a sense of humor about anything. They don't laugh at themselves, obviously, because if they did, they wouldn't be authoritarians. But but that's the kind of there's a lot of questions here that are going to come up. But first, um, what happens next, right? So this happened to Jimmy Kimmel. I think I'm going to ask also about Jimmy Kimmel. What's the future for him? But first, what is going on here? Okay. It's interesting. It shows me the image I had seen before, which is the layer of like where Trump is making the decisions, and he's pushing this worldview that is completely detached from how we see the world, and it's this top layer, right? And everything is being pushed, and he's changing this like physical layer, right, where he's going to control the media and such in that way. But what I see is this: that oh yeah, take that out, do this, and it's done. And at the same time, when it's done, it's also going to be removed. Does it make sense? It's sort of like as something is externalized, it loses power, and it's saying it will be removed. This decision, it's saying, I know it sounds very counterintuitive because it is counterintuitive for me too. I'm getting that as we do the things that Trump wants, like this, he becomes even more unpopular, and people don't accept it. It's saying that it may seem that no, nobody's doing anything. No, they are. And by the way, I canceled Hulu. So I have Hulu on and off. I had Hulu on and off. I even have that live version, which is pretty expensive for the internet and the computer. I can watch shows or whatever on there. But I canceled today because it's owned by Disney, right? It's owned by ABC. So, and Disney's owned by, right? I was not the owner of ABC, and I really like Bob Iger. I feel bad, but the situation, I don't know that. So Bob Iger, remember how Bob Iger resisted Florida, and now uh, I'd say that because the threat is that Trump would cut ABC's license. So 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 anyway, so this thing happens, but does it stay? How long? But then I see that it falls. The whole thing is going to fall. And it's a, the thing that I was going to tell you that I find very strange to understand. They're telling me that this has to happen so that we see how far he pushes things, how far he went, how far he goes. Because before these were threats, right? He hated, he mocked people, and now it's becoming reality. So now that it's a reality, it also is bound to fail and to fall. Okay, so, and I see, and then I was going to ask next, how is this going to fall? And then I got, we don't know quite, I guess not. And then, and then, let me ask a question. There's so much coming in my head, guys. I know it's crazy. So Jimmy Kimmel, will he return? I think a couple months break and he comes back. Mm. So are we going to live in a world where Trump? No, it's saying Trump is not going to stay. It's like, and it says, Rosie, he's really, no matter how you say it, no matter how you slice it, he's not popular enough. And we know that I say ultimately the election was not won fairly and squarely. Okay. So, so this is that. Now, what happens next? No, I see again this image of Trump doing whatever he wants and feeling like so powerful because he can almost do everything. But that's the delusion. And then it shows me things falling apart. Okay. Oh, and something else. I asked when I was talking to this person today, I asked also, what if I'm wrong and it turns out that things just like Trump, she was asking me about Bibi, but it applies to Trump also. Could it be that they're just going to continue to stay in power? Because I would say to her, this person for years, like, oh, Bibi's going to leave, is going to leave. But Israel has a different structure and it's a smaller country. And so Bibi continues to stay there. And I asked, what is different this time? Because I do feel like something about this upcoming week feels so much bigger than ever since we started talking about these things. And what I was told is that it's like a black hole. You know, the black hole is like sort of like it has a centrifugal effect, like it sucks situations and people in. So the gravitational pull is too strong and it will cause, it's very difficult to, and I say it is earth world related, space related, but it doesn't make sense as the world that we live in a way, but it's also from spirit. So it's saying that humans are not bigger than spirit. I'm being told here. So okay. So okay, so that's what I'm understanding about next week. So that it's like we're going to finally see the moment when humans understand limits. Okay, so and then I saw that the a car like a level, it's like it go in a different direction. That they're going to go up and then boom, things are going to move in a very opposite direction, and that's very unexpected. And there will be some blowback, but it doesn't make sense. It's sort of like you go up. It's like a car that tries to go up a mountain or go up an incline, and it doesn't work. It has to go down. What goes up must go down kind of feeling. Okay. And that's interesting. All right. So this is that part. I don't know, how do I do this? What do I make face? So it's good. When I laugh, I can laugh. It's good. So that's the story. Now I want to share with you guys. I did a grand tableau because I want to know, of course, what's happening next week. And I have to say, like I said, today was a beautiful day. I went out, but we all feel it, right? There is something in the air that day. The sky was by Fernando. Okay, is that right? Okay, sorry, I'm moving the random alarms here. All right. So, I want to show you. I took pictures, okay, of this. I took pictures. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get it. I'll be right back. Okay, so let's see. All right. So, okay, so here we are at the Grand Tableau, looking into what's going on this situation, especially next week. And so let's see if I can. So interesting because this is the first three cards. Let me meditate. Okay. So we see here these first three cards. Now what we hear is a letter. Letter could be a piece of communication of some sort, right? And here is a scythe and the coffin. So sudden ending, information about sudden ending. Now, what's interesting is the first position is the writer. So it's the person, what's coming, what's immediate. And the third position is second is small opportunity, but the third position, the reason why I also want to talk about the number 8 here, the coffin, it's in the house of the ship, something moving, something going away, something foreign also. Okay, so oh, no. Here, right, this. Okay, so let me just see if I can. All right, so all right. So now, so this is like again, information about a sudden ending and something related to something foreign. Okay. Oh my God. Now let's look for the ship card here is because then we have to jump house to house, right? Here we go to number 3 from coffin to jump the house. We'll find the house and find the card that corresponds to the house. Now it's sitting on the house of the older man. So older man, and also it's like he has to go. Older man has to go. And let's look at where's the card 30 because that's the one that corresponds to the older man. Let's find it here. So it's interesting because again, this card is sitting on top of the coffin. So something happens to the older man that he has to go. And it's what's interesting too is like 10, 11, 12. So he's sitting on the card of talking, ending of the man. He and it's interesting because there may be something to do with his speech also. I wonder, honestly. But so it definitely suggests that there's a possibility of some sudden ending related to an older man. And then we are here, the card of talking, to 19, 20, 21. Something will be talked about, okay? And then we jump to the card of talking is in the house of delay. Delay here. Delay is something sudden, and something sudden. There's an opportunity to create a sudden ending. And here now, what's interesting is then that the scythe leads to an opportunity. And what is the opportunity? The opportunity is the house of the woman, who's the one in this situation is Kamala. And where is she? She's right here. Okay. Interesting because they're next to each other, Trump and Kamala. Okay. So then we have here 22 is the card that we use for election recognition about the woman winning. The sun is the victory, right? So let's go back here to remember this. The card 27 is the letter or the information or document. Okay. Now let's jump to where is the document. What the house of the document is 27 is here where the fox is. The fox means treachery, cheating of some sort. Okay. So information about cheating. And then when you jump to the position 14, we have here anchor. So he got the White House anchor on top of Trump. Like he got the position by cheating, right? And he's actually sitting in the house of what would be hacking or losses. And then we have here the White House permanent man under the clouds. Now, the clouds, this is also related to Elon Musk because that's how he got the election, right? The cloud system, it was satellites, which is this card here, right? The stars, but also cloud computing where the information is shared or stored, data is shared or stored. Okay. So that's interesting. Then we have now, what else? Okay, here the White House is here in the house of the tree. The tree is, could be something mystical, could be health, longevity. But then when you look at the house, what is the house of the White House? Is the dog. The good person is in the house. We jump to it. Would look for the house of the dog is where the ring is sitting. The ring is something concrete. There's a contract, a job offer signed. The friend is in the White House then. And if you look at the order, this is Trump, then Kamala comes, and then the friend, right? So it's related. So then when we jump to look for the house of the ring, where's the ring? What's in the house of the ring? 24. The heart. Okay. And then I'm just, because it's too messy here. So here, the house of the ring has the heart in it. And so we're happy with this development. But then who is sitting in the house of the heart? Kamala. So we're happy with the development that's connected to Kamala. And it's an opportunity when the sudden removal happens. Okay. I also wanted to show you here J.D. Vance. What's interesting, he's sitting in the house of Anchor. So he's about to be promoted. He thinks he's going to be promoted. Okay. But then you have here this is what before him. Here's the sun is the clarity about the bear. Now the bear I have determined that it's going to be meaning Russia. So the success of J.D. Vance has to do with Russia, and he's next to the house of secrets. I'm sorry, the card of secrets. So does it make sense, guys? I feel like personally, there's a chance that stuff could come out about the election that will be significant enough that a departure could actually happen. Okay, so the news is the news is an opportunity for departure and a new positive outcome. Okay, so, and then also other players that are relevant here. The 19 is the military, the tower, and the military is sitting on its own house, so it's powerful even more. And then we have here the key, the military is key, military very important. In 1920, the house of 20 is the house of the public and society, also social media. So the military has a role, is very important in talking. Okay, this is what it says, 1930, the tower, key, talking. Okay, important talks by the military, important moves by the military. And the key is in the house, like I said, of the 20, which is the public. The public will know the role it plays playing. And then when we jump to what's in the house of the key? Success. So whatever the military ends up doing, will be successful. 34, 35, 30, that's right. Okay. And okay. And then 31 is the success makes us happy. Okay. So there's just these interesting indicators. All right. And so this is just this part. I'm going to end here, this part. So I just wanted to share that with you. So let's go now to what happened in London. So I was looking at Trump's visit to the UK because I had said before that it would be, when he comes back, it will be the beginning of the end for him, really. So let's see. And by the way, I saw these photos of not Kamala at all. Melania with a hat that was covering her face. She looks so, I don't say I feel bad for her because I don't really. There's a lot more people that are actually going through real things, but that they went over there. And so, guys, I'm remembering the Grand Tableau that the coffin was in the house of something foreign, and that there is a role, foreign countries are playing a role in the removal of Trump. So what happens next? What happens when Trump comes back? See, he's not feeling well. Yeah, I feel like there's more information coming out, and remembering now just the cards. He's going to push and be pushed to do something much, much more radical, but it will not go well. And guys, as I was saying, the last video I made, it was pretty intense, right? It was saying like, be careful, don't travel, all that, all these heavy things could happen. But I'm getting again this confirmation that it's showing me January 6th, what happened January 6th. But this time, something the blow does make sense. If he tries to do something like that, that's when he could lose his position and everything could be exposed. And I've said also, if you guys have questions that I can't, this makes sense. Sometimes I don't get the information. I don't think we're supposed to know the details of what's going to happen, but it may be an intense time. I just want this to end, as most people do. And even if it means that there's going to be some days of stress, as long as this ends as soon as possible. Okay. Again, anything is possible, but right, I don't know the details of what will actually happen. I would like if he goes, but because, and I was remembering again, like astrologer saying that something like that could happen because of the 24th, especially. There's signs of government change, something like that. So we'll see. We just have to take it's intense, it's very heavy. Take one day at a time. But that's what I see for today. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye guys. Bye.